Islamic banking reforms and solutions. सवाल ज़ेर बहस लाना चाहते हैं वो ये है कि assess and review the current state of Islamic finance operations in the country. इस्लामी बैंकारी या इस्लाम का अपना निज़ाम मईशत है, उसमें किस कदर पोटेंशियल है कि पूरे कन्वेंशनल बैंकिंग सिस्टम को रिप्लेस करने की अहलियत रखता है। सोल्यूशन का बार बार जिक्र किया गया कि क्या बैंकिंग सिस्टम या इस्लामिक बैंकिंग के अलावा भी कोई सोल्यूशन हो सकता है। तो शेख इस हवाले से अपना एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रखते हैं और उनकी अपनी एक इस पर रिसर्च है और बैनुल-अक़वामी सतह पर ख़ास तौर पर जो ब्लॉकचेन सिस्टम है उसके हवाले से भी वो उस वक्त अपनी एक बड़ी खिदमत से अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट हम्बली आवर ऑनरेबल एस्टीम्ड गेस्ट, रिनाउंड स्कॉलर ऑफ इस्लाम, शेख उमर इब्राहिम वदीलो. Sheikh, I humbly request you to turn on your mic and start speaking, please.
Please forgive me for speaking English and not your wonderful Urdu language. It's my fault. I should learn Urdu in order to speak in our language, not in somebody else's. But let me start by commending your effort, because I think Dr. Umair Siddiqui has brought us here together in order to solve this problem. And you can see that it is inevitable we start saying, I have authority, you don't have authority, I know, you don't know, etc. But I don't think that's what Dr. Umair wanted. I think he brought us all together to find common grounds and how to move forward, because indeed we can move forward. I think rather than having a debate about Islamic banking, we should all concentrate, because we all agree that commercial banking is haram. Let's come all together. Let's get all together and force the commercial banks to put a tag in their names called haram bank. And that will already illuminate the position of most people. They are the ones that we have to attack, the commercial banks. They are the ones that they are, without any question, we all agree they are wrong. But let me tell you something that it will surprise you, probably will surprise most of you. This morning, today, I had a meeting at 11 o'clock in the morning with the Central Bank of Turkey. I'm living in Istanbul at the moment. And I've been invited by the government to assist them in the creation of a digital lira, digital currency. And we have been having discussions with several bodies in the government, and today it was the turn of the central bank. Let me tell you the three conclusions that we arrived at, because I think it illustrates our position. Number one, commercial banks, all private banks will disappear. They are on their way out. The technology has evolved in such manner that the introduction of digital currencies will make banks, all banks, without exception, redundant. They are unnecessary. We don't need them. They are all going to go. That includes commercial banks, Islamic banks, and all types of private banks. Number two, we are moving into a world in which central banks will cease to become banks. The central bank of the future will not be a bank. It will turn into a sovereign investment fund. And the currency supported by the central banks will have to be 100% backed by assets. The example of this is the Bank of Switzerland. You can see what I mean by that. And number three, and perhaps the most interesting of all, is the fact that we are moving into a currency that it will have no inflation, zero inflation. The present system of fiat currencies, which is an absolute fraud, will disappear. Now, the background of this is a remarkable change of events at the geopolitical level. The government of Turkey has sent an agreement to the Russian Federation, who has been thrown out of the SWIFT system, out of the dollar, together with China, who has been desiring the elimination of the US dollar for a long time, together with Turkey, Russia, China, Turkey, to create a complete different new monetary system in which there will be digital currencies swapped one with another, with gold currency, a digital gold currency as the underlying value. So politically, for the first time, we are encountering a time in which the creation of a gold currency is just pushing forward. The environment, the political environment, is allowing this thing to happen. What we want is to extend this affair to Pakistan, and we need all of you. We have to be all together in this affair. I want you to think differently on this matter. Let's stop fighting with each other. And first of all, focus all our energy against the commercial banks of Pakistan. As I said, force them to put the tag haram. And secondly, let's work together, all of us together, no exception, to introduce the gold currency in Pakistan. This is a gold dinar. And this is a silver dirham, dinar and dirham. This is the Sharia currency. This has been the currency from the beginning of Islam up until the fall of the Caliphate. There is none of us who can argue whether this is our money or not. We agree that this halal is in the Sunnah, is the practice of our people. Today, we can put it in motion. So let's start fresh. Let's start with something, an institution that we understand completely, 100%, and there is no question about its validity. And let's formulate everything which is the completion of muamalat on the basis of the roots that they are based on the Sunnah. Now, what is important about having here a representative of the central bank is that we should ask him, it is legally possible to start minting dinar and dirham in Pakistan. And I can tell you, it can be done because I've done it. I've done it in other countries, and nothing legally can make impossible the minting of the dinar and the dirham. Especially if we all agree that this is important and we all come to an agreement, all of us, each one of us here present, if we all come together into this, it will be unstoppable. The minting of the dinar and the dirham comes as a fundamental function into the payment of zakat. The nisab of zakat is 20 dinar and 200 dirham. And it's not the weight, it's not the mithqal that counts as value, it's the coin itself. The dinar and the mithqal, they have two different values. We can argue into this if you want. The minting of the dinar and the dirham must be minted. If we incorporate into the law of zakat the name of the dinar and the dirham, the central banks, not only of Pakistan, but of the whole Muslim world, will have to accept that the minting of the dinar and the dirham is part of the Sharia. And therefore, we are above any legal tender laws, because now this is the Sharia. To do it under the supervision of the central bank will guarantee that we can bring the gold dinar bit by bit. This is important, because if we were to transform all the rupees into dinar and dirham overnight, it will be chaos in the country, a complete chaos, something we don't want. We want to introduce it bit by bit. Once you have in your hands a gold dinar, when the people of Pakistan have in their hands gold dinar, and they can make payments with a mobile phone, they can just make payments to each other in gold dinar with zero inflation, you know perfectly well that the 90% of the people of this country will choose gold dinar because it has no inflation. One dirham, we know how much at the time of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam you could buy with a dinar. And with the dirham, we know from the literature that you could buy one chicken with one dirham. And today, you can buy in Pakistan one chicken for approximately one dirham. 1,400 years later, inflation is zero. Not only that, the dinar is not only the currency of Pakistan, the dinar will be the currency of the whole Muslim world. I commend you to think bigger. What is in our hands is the transformation of the world, the elimination of an evil system called capitalism. And for that, we have to base it on our roots. It is impossible for Islamic banking to pursue the goals when we already understand that the underlying issues are haram. It's like you have a soup of pork. It doesn't matter how many spices you add on it. It will continue being a soup of pork. You cannot make it halal. What are the underlying issues? Fractional reserve banking in account of the institution, banking itself. The fact that you are under the legal system that is completely wrong. The fact that you are part of a banking system as an institution, as a whole, of which you cannot separate. So let's start afresh. Let's start with something totally new and let the things develop in their own way. Because as I said, the days of private banking are over. This is all disappearing. And we are going to have no commercial banks, no Islamic banks. This is all going to go. What we need to start thinking is how to build something that we, from the first moment, we can declare 100% halal, 100%, not a little bit haram, or 50% halal, or we are a little bit better than the others. No, that's not the argument. The argument here is 100%. If we call it something Islamic, it's because it's 100%. Something is 99%, it's not Islamic, 100%. So we build it on our own institutions. And this is how we can come together. All of us, let this be an effort of all of us. Nobody can disagree on the dinar and the dirham. And we know that this will integrate the ummah, one single currency. Dinar and dirham, no more forex. Goodbye to the US dollar. And we have a currency stronger than the rupee. How do we start? The question is, how do we start? How do we develop this thing in a manner that it doesn't break what we have at the moment? We have to do it slowly. So I propose a small amount, even 100,000 dinar. That will not break the economy of Pakistan. 100,000 dinar, but we introduce it and we start giving it to people. I'm telling you this, the gold dinar will speak by itself, and you cannot do fractional reserve banking of the gold dinar. We will make it tight. It will be one coin, represented digitally by one coin, the same, no fractional reserve banking there. On the basis of this, we have a common start, and that is what I beg you to do. Let's be all together, all of us, those who are here, in order to think bigger and to bring whatever the spirit of Islamic bankers is, which is cannot be any other, that we want the best for the ummah. It cannot. I don't believe that there is anyone who can say I want something wrong for the ummah. We all want the same. So let's start with something practical and center all our attacks on commercial banks. We all together, we all agree. Let's put the tag of haram on them. And secondly, start on a very little basis under the supervision of the central bank, so that there is no question on the matter. The meantime of dinar and dirham, start distributing and operating with it. That's my message to you. Thank you for listening.
I'm very much thankful to you that you have been for more than 3 hours with us and you listened to us all.